Good afternoon. It's Wednesday, March 13th, 2024, 2:34 p.m. This is a Baltimore City Board of Ethics meeting. My name is Steve Fogelman. I'm chairman. We will call the meeting to order. Let you know that all participants in the public session of the board meeting acknowledge and consent to the video and audio recording of the public session and the publication of the recording on the board's website and social media accounts. Okay, reviewing the schedule and the agenda today. We understand, Noel, that you've got a hard stop at 3:30, so we'll make sure we do everything to maintain a quorum and try to wrap the meeting up by that time. All right. Next, per the Open Meetings Act, the board discloses that it adjourned its virtual open meeting on February 14th, 2024 to enter administrative session at 3:23 p.m. 4 board members were present. Members discussed administrative matters, including complaints. Likewise, the board may need to close some or all of this meeting today to preserve the confidentiality mandated by the Ethics Code or is otherwise authorized by the State Open Meetings Act. Upon adjournment of the open session, the board may reconvene for an administrative session to discuss non-public administrative functions of the board. All right, we will go ahead and take a look at the written minutes for the public session of February 14th, 2024. Are there any comments, edits, additions, deletions, or corrections, as they say? All right, hearing none, I will move for the adoption and approval of the written minutes of the public session of February 14, 2024. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, all those in favor of the approval of the February 14 public minutes? Aye. Aye. Okay, that's they are approved. And we'll turn it over to the staff update at this time.
Yes, we had a relatively quiet month for some reason. The requests for guidance have been coming in steadily. I think we handled about 25 new ones over the last month, and also received I think 4 or 5 complaints that we will address in the confidential part of the meeting. Nishan, would you have the rest of the numbers?
Sure. For ethics training attendees for February, we had 17 people that completed the training, bringing our total to 239. For the gift solicitation waivers, we have 2 waivers for this. Oh, excuse me, correction. We have 6 waivers that were submitted for this board meeting. 2 waivers expired since the last meeting, bringing our total of active waivers to 14, with 17 expired or rescinded. For the financial disclosure statements, we are still sending out notifications to the 60+ agencies about the April 30th, 2024 deadline. But the good news, a lot of people are filing prior. And for lobbyists, so far we have 86 registered lobbyists.
Wow.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you. All right, Chris.
Yeah, I have nothing to add to that. I don't believe we have old business carrying over, so we could go straight into the new business.
Great.
Which is a rare case of having 6 waiver applications and presented by one person. So the floor is yours.
Well, it may be historical. Cheers. Let's talk about bourbon and bacon.
Good morning, everyone. So my name is Ashley Bush. I'm the Chief of Special Events and Permits. Good morning. Good afternoon. I'm the Chief of Permits and Special Events for Baltimore City Recreation and Parks. And this year we are seeking to be able to get sponsorships for several of our signature events, 6 to be exact. And so you want, you want me to go through each event and give a little bit of the description of them?
Yes, I mean, they're set as 6 separate requests, I
Yeah.
guess, for the Board of Estimates. So, yeah, go ahead and let's start with the triple B.
Wonderful. So Birds, Bourbon, and Bacon is an event that we hosted last year for the very first time. We'll be bringing it back this year. It's a unique event that looks to bring people into Baltimore City's green spaces in an unconventional way. The event will see attendees first going bird watching with some experienced birders from the Baltimore area in one of our parks. And then they'll tour one of the facilities at our location. So this last year it was at the conservatory. This year it will be at Silburn Arboretum, followed by brunch and a high-end whiskey tasting. And so that is the layout of the event. It is a ticketed event, and we are seeking sponsorship for things like food, the materials and supplies that we'll need for the event, the whiskey, possibly the bourbon steward or the facilitator of the tasting, etc.
All right, and donations will be collected, will be placed at the Civic Fund.
Correct. For all 6 events, any donations collected will be going to the Civic Fund.
All right. Did you guys request a waiver last year for this, or was it a different kind of setup?
Nope, it was a different kind of setup, but because we are increasing over time, as I said, it was the first year last year. It was a smaller event. There were only 40 people there. We are hoping to almost triple that number. So in increasing that, the expenses have increased. And so we've added this to our sponsorship request. Also last year when we started planning, it was a very short time between ideation and execution. So we didn't have much time to request any type of sponsors.
All right, members?
I'm sorry?
Fellow members have any questions?
No.
Yes, I do. Could you just speak a little bit about how you're soliciting donations? That is, you have a list of donors and how is it drawn up, or what's the process for bringing the donations in?
Yep. So for all of the events in general, we'll have a donation page on the BCF website. They'll create a donation page, and we'll list all of the events that we have for donors to be able to go to that site and to donate to the events. We also will do some outreach to some local and national companies to ask them to sponsor various parts of the event. So, for example, we will reach out to a company called Breakthrough, who works in liquor distribution, to see if they would be interested into sponsoring the whiskey tasting part of the event.
Are any of these sponsors that you're specifically reaching out to, such as Breakthrough, I gather some others that are might have particular interest in this, are they any of them regulated by the city
No.
or have contracts with the city?
No.
Okay.
Not the list that I currently have. I understand that there cannot be controlled donors, and we have to let people know that they will receive no special privileges for doing any type of sponsorship with us from the city. So I am clear on that part.
And any other questions? Okay, fellow members, I think it's probably going to be more efficient for our guests to continue and describing the other proposals as well, given that they'll be subject to similar questions. So we'll want to hear that about each and every one of the requests. Are you okay? You okay with that?
Yes.
Okay, great. So go ahead.
Okay, so I'll just run down each of the events.
Excellent.
Okay.
Thank you.
So you said next up is the Wellness Expo?
Mhm.
So the Wellness Expo is dedicated to promoting health and wellness within the community. We're planning to have live demonstrations, interactive fitness classes, resources. The expo will offer attendees the opportunity to explore various aspects of well-being. We'll have yoga sessions, nutrition workshops, holistic health consultations. Really, the event is to help to empower individuals to prioritize their health and adopt a sustainable lifestyle. And so that we are looking to have at our Middle Branch Health and Wellness or Health and Fitness Center in south of Baltimore.
All right, and again, who are you going to solicit from?
So again, with that, we'll reach out to some national companies. We'll also be reaching out to some speakers, asking them to be able to donate, not necessarily funds, but their time. We have some big names that we want to reach out to ask them to donate their time to speak. We have some local health companies that will also be reaching out to. We'll reach out to people like GNC, to see if they will want to donate, some health shots. We'll reach out to, let's see, where's sorry. I have a list for some of these specifically, and some of them I do not. Pure Life is a smoothie company. So we'll reach out to them to see if they would be willing to provide samples of mini smoothies during the event as well.
Excellent. Questions from members based on this particular application?
I have one question. I'm not sure why I'm reverberating with that. But anyway, the question is, Bush, is what is the incentive for vendors to donate food and their products?
So the incentive would be, again, to kind of get their brand out there, to let the community know that they sponsor.
Please dial extension. All right, thank you for muting yourself there.
Sorry. The incentive is for them to get their brand out there, for them to get their name out there, for them to show the community that they support these type of initiatives. Big brands especially always want to let local communities know that their products are options for them. So it's really about helping to raise awareness for those particular companies, whether locally owned or nationally recognized.
Thank you.
All right. Any further questions with respect to the Wellness Expo? All right, hearing none, we'll have you, Chief Bush, we'll have you talk about the Rainbow Run.
Yep. So the Rainbow Run is an event that celebrates diversity, inclusion, and healthy living through a colorful 2-mile run through Patterson Park. It will be held during Pride Month. And so that will be a part of the element as I talk about celebrating diversity and inclusion. The event will feature an official race, a kid zone. We'll have a beer garden for adults after the race as well. And there'll be something to do for participants of all ages. Again, it's another way to promote health and wellness, as that's one of the missions of recreation and parks.
Right. Again, Civic Fund, same amount you say you're going to be raising as the other two effectively?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. And again, nobody's going to be under the impression that they're going to get any special treatment as a result.
Absolutely not. We will definitely make sure that they are aware of that. We will put it in writing so that these companies are also aware that they will receive no special treatment in relation to any business that they plan to do in the future with Baltimore City or otherwise.
Very well. Members? Any questions? All right. Again, same parameters as the others.
Yep.
How about the Fête Champêtre?
Wonderful. You almost got that. Yeah.
Almost.
So Fiat Champetre is another unique event that will be added to our signature lineup this year. It's essentially a luxurious garden party. Fiat Champetre means garden party. So we will be having this in one of our parks, currently scheduled for Middle Branch. It'll be a mixture. It's a traditional concept of a picnic, but kind of elevated, if you will. We'll have a national, we're currently seeking to have a national recording artist as the entertainment for this event. We will be selling tickets. This is another event where we will be selling tickets. People, we will be reaching out to food vendors, alcohol vendors. We may also have some tables and kind of merchandise vendors as well. But we're seeking sponsorships for all of those things, the entertainment, the production side of things, similar to the way in which we seek funding for AFRAM.
Right. And this is a big one. This is just short of $500,000.
Yes, over the next 6 years. Yes.
Okay. All right. It sounds like a big undertaking. Members, questions regarding the FET?
Just specifically, what the proceeds benefit?
So the proceeds will go back into Rec and Park special events. These events that we're currently doing are ticketed events outside of Rhythm and Reels, and a small cost for the Wellness Expo. But the 25 to 40 other events that we do throughout the year are all free. And so the funds, whatever funds we make that are in access, will just go back to being able to put on these events again in the next year.
So it's
because
fundraising
a lot of
for
these
free.
we are not, a lot of these we really aren't expecting to break even or even get to come in the black on these events. So the sponsorships are really offsetting some of the expenses that Rec and Parks are already going to incur for the event.
Okay, so the profits will go back to special events to
Yep.
put on free events for the community.
Correct. To put on free events and back to these events for the following year.
Okay.
All right, John
Thank
Arnold.
you.
You're welcome.
All right.
Nothing here.
All right. Next up, it would tell us about cookies and cabooses.
Yes, so Cookies and Cabooses is another event that we do every year. This is our first year seeking sponsorship. Previously, it was a relatively smaller event, a couple hundred people at one of our rec centers. This actually is a free event, but we have expanded it from one location to another location. And while our budget for this initially was around $2,500, as we've seen attendance grow to 400 to 500 people at our original location and almost 400 people at our secondary location this year, we recognize that the budget that we currently have is not sufficient enough. Our expenses have kind of topped out at about $10,000 for each site. And so we want to be able to fundraise in order to continue to bring the quality event of Cookies and Cabooses. We have bakeries. A lot of it, as suggested, is cookies. And so we want to be able to receive donations from bakeries. We've had some reach out to us to offer up cookies and other items to help us to put on the event. And so we wanted to add this to our list of events that we will be fundraising for this year.
Very well. Questions? Right. And then
what's the caboose and cookies? What's the caboose?
The caboose is a train, actually. So the event at each location, we show. Oh, why is the movie blinking right now? Polar Express. We show Polar Express at both of the sites during the event. And this our new event show this past year we brought in ponies and made them into reindeers with the reindeer ears to keep in line with the Polar Express theme. So that's the caboose part of the cookies and caboose.
all right. I was expecting dancing, but all right. Do you have any questions for Chief Bush?
Nice presentation.
All right. So with that, we'll thank you for being here. And
I have one more that should be on there, right?
What do you have?
I don't want to miss that one.
No, you're correct.
Which one is that? I mean, I chopped it off.
Charm City, yes, because that's a big one.
The lights or the lights?
The lights.
Oh, yeah, I did miss you. Sorry about that. Charm City Lights. Go right ahead.
Yep. So Charm City Lights is an undertaking that started last year. It was our first time having a drive-through light display of this magnitude in Baltimore City. This year we are fundraising to be able to provide and extend, I should say, to be able to extend the route of the lights. While last year was our first year, and we had funding to put towards the lights, we do not have as much funding this year to put towards expansion. And as the community has reached out to us to let us know some of their desires around Charm City Lights, we want to be able to solicit to increase the amount of lights that we have. We also want to be able to solicit to get our youth from our rec centers involved. So we plan to host a competition where youth from rec centers can design lights, light displays that we will then have created, and we want to be able to receive sponsorships for the youth that create light displays for their displays to be made and put onto the trail.
So this one, you're going to raise over 500,000. That's as high as the form goes.
That's correct.
What do you think you're going to do over 500?
So we did 500, but that is again over. That's 500 for the year, but we're asking for it. But for the next, I believe I put for the next 6 years, so 2030.
Mm-hmm. All right. Very well. Questions for Chief Bush?
Just to confirm, in case you haven't addressed it with each of these waiver requests, there's going to be no solicitation, or rather, there's going to be no targeted solicitation of controlled donors and no indication of preferential treatment for any donors who are solicited, correct?
That is correct.
Requests? Okay,
yes,
thank
sir.
you.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much for being here today. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much for the time.
Come back, see us anytime.
All righty.
3 or 4 next time.
Okay. I'll make it brief the next time. Thank you.
Thank you. Take care. Okay. We would like to discuss these one at a time. I mean, we're going to vote on them one at a time, but I don't really distinguish other than the size of the campaigns. You know, I don't really see any differences here. It's the same agency, same repositor of the money. What do you all think? Arnold?
I mean, I think that it sounds like it's kosher to me, and I think they deserve our our approval, and therefore our support.
Just muting out my cuckoo clock. Anyone else?
I agree.
All right. I will go ahead and move that we approve the gift solicitation waiver for birds, bourbon, and bacon with the Department of Recreation and Parks.
I second.
All in favor of said motion signify by saying aye.
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 Right. And that's approved. Can I get a motion for the Charm City Wellness solicitation waiver application?
I'll move to approve the solicitation waiver application for the Charm City.
And
Second.
a second by Arnold. All right, all in favor of the approval of that motion for Charm City Wellness waiver application signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
All right. All right, that's also approved. I'll move that we approve the Rainbow Run gift solicitation waiver application.
Second.
All right, we've been seconded. All in favor of that motion for Rainbow Run application signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
All right, that's also approved unanimously. Do I have a motion on the Fet Champetre gift solicitation waiver application?
I
I
move
move to, go ahead, Arnold.
that we approve that application.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
All right. The name of that application signify by saying aye if you approve the Fet Champetre application.
Aye.
All right.
Aye.
Sure. It is.
Aye.
Sorry, John. All right. Next up is cookies and cabooses. I'll move that we approve the solicitation waiver application.
Second.
Second.
All right. All in favor of the motion for cookies and cabooses signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
All right. And that's unanimous. Finally, the Charm City Lights gift solicitation waiver application. Does anybody want to make a motion for Charm City Lights?
I'll make a
I'll
motion.
move
All right. We'll accept
second.
John's second. All in favor of approving the Charm City Lights application signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
I would just like to add a little asterisk to all 6 events that the approval should be pending DOE approval because they have not received or have been presented to DOE yet.
All
Just
right.
Procedurally.
Do we have any further business here in the session?
I'd like to propose, I may. I think this is my 3rd attempt, and maybe my final attempt to do this. We have received input from the public that has fallen outside of the realm of the authority of the Board of Ethics, and we could not act on it. And I would think that it would be I think that it's in the interest of the public and the interest of the Board of Ethics to better publicize, succinctly publicize what our authority is and what our activity has been from period to period. I've asked about this several times in the past, and nothing has happened on it. And so I'm proposing that I'd like to ask if there's an objection or something that I'm missing or whatever. I thought there was an agreement to do that the last time we met, but I don't think we're doing that.
Well, so if I remember correctly, and we've got minutes, here on our email and stuff, but I feel like that you first brought that up at our December meeting, and then you brought it up probably in January and maybe in February. And I do agree that there are already some things we can do that cost nothing and maybe take very little amount of time. I do know that, Mara has been on leave, and I know that I feel like we at least talked to her about that at one time. So and the fact that we get together once a month, yeah, I'd like to hear. And Nishan, you're back 100%, right? Yeah. So I'm sure that we can do these things. I do feel like it's something that we can do with an email with staff, whether it be more frequent social media posts. I know you had talked about press releases. Sometimes I think maybe press releases are sort of antiquated today. They can still be effective, but a lot of news outlets get their news from social media feeds rather than the fax machine or that kind of thing. So, I mean, I think it's something we need to further discuss. I don't know that we gave the staff, specific enough instructions on what to do. And I do think it really would be a good idea to flesh this out. So maybe if staff could brainstorm at the, between now and the next meeting on things that we can do that aren't going to be requiring somebody to spend 10 labor hours a week. But if there, what we can do to increase the transparency, the exposure, and thus the transparency of this agents of this board. So I haven't forgotten about you. I just I don't have the password to the X account. I don't think we have Instagram, but like I can't do it all by myself, and you can't either, Arnold. Yeah, so it definitely is going to be a team effort on that.
Yeah, I mean, it's the website redesign is finished at this point. I think that was this big citywide redoing of the entire web system, including the recasting of the language of everything that's supposed to be on the web. It quite literally on the guidance was on the language and reading level of a fifth grader. I kind of put in my 2 cents where we deal with the law. We don't want to use language that is not the law. So we have refreshed capacity to use the website for more and lead to the website. I have started a series of smaller, like not editorials, but kind of a director's corner where, for example, the mentioning or explaining the jurisdiction of the ethics law, what it covers, what it does not cover, because I think that is a most of the complaints that we received and a lot of the media coverage relies on a somewhat misunderstanding of what the board is about and what the ethics law is about. In regard to the social media, I'm happy to do that.
Yeah. How about
for me? It's I come out of publishing, and so I have a certain threshold as to what I consider to be worth publishing. It's not necessarily the monthly statistics, and it's also somewhat hamstrung by the restrictions that we have on maintaining the confidentiality of requests for guidance, for example.
right?
So,
And Chris, in the interest of time, let's you and I continue this discussion,
okay.
and we'll have something by next meeting, okay?
Okay.
To present, so to speak. All right.
Arnold, you look unhappy.
No, I'm not. I'm just trying to
No,
keep it.
Arnold looks unhappy.
I am unhappy.
Mhm.
I'm unhappy because we've bandied this about a bit, And I thought Mara did say she would act on this, and she's, of course, she's on leave. When we have to dismiss something that's a person in the public has asked us to do, I feel a certain way that I feel that we have failed to inform them what our parameters are. I mean, it's the obligations on the citizens to maybe know, but we know more about those parameters and those boundaries than they do. And if we could just get those boundaries out there, people would know if they got an issue, where to take that issue. Where, what if they can't come to us, to go to the IG. If they can't go to the IG, go to the police department. But I would like to inform the public so that they would not feel we have perpetrated a fraud, that we've told them that we're here to, as guardians of the public, and then we dismiss what they think is a legitimate complaint. The complaint may not have had merit, but still we dismiss it, and but it's because they don't know, they've come to the wrong place. I'm happy that I got it off my chest. Thank you for letting me say that.
Sure.
All right.
Okay. Do we have any other other things to discuss in the public session? All right. Hearing none, we'll go ahead and adjourn public session at 3:10 p.m. Thank you very much.